Back in as we head through a bit of a choppy afternoon here for the overall indexes, both the NASDAQ and, there we go, I like that, new toys coming into play. Both the NASDAQ and the S&P, as I was mentioning, just kind of chopping around here. It's been, there's the cues anyways. It's been kind of an inside day here as we still sit within this range from yesterday. So strong was the market into the close, specifically tech stocks yesterday. A bit of a wait and see after we get some economic data this morning. That was a little bit mixed, to say the least. The retail sales side of things anyways coming in a little bit lower than expected, but we did get that import-export number that was still higher than expected. So back and forth we go as far as the overall market is concerned. Here is the S&P 500. Still a lot of red right across this board. We are seeing a little bit of an improvement, though, from tech specifically. Microsoft, now positive on the day, was down about 0.5% to 0.8 at the lows. Netflix trying to get positive as well, back to just 0.25% to the downside. Look at Oracle having a nice day, 1.8%. Meta off the lows, Google off the lows, Apple as well off the lows. Yeah, Nvidia all the way back and then some. Broadcom 1.6% to the downside. Same story for Intel. Some of the other ones, Qualcomm down there, and Micron I noticed as well, also in the red. It's been pretty ugly for energy stocks all day. Here's, XOM down 3.5 right now, dragging the rest of the group with them. Oil also in negative territory as we head into the final couple of hours here on a afternoon. Tesla 2.8%. There's still a ton of volume on Tesla today. We'll touch on why coming up here. Both Visa and MasterCard in negative territory. Comcast notably strong. There are individual names, Eli Lilly, Amgen down here, both to the upside. Otherwise, the healthcare group pretty flat as we head towards more retail earnings coming up tomorrow and Thursday. Home Depot, obviously, this morning ends up being a little bit of a non-event as far as their earnings are concerned. That was the major overall headline we were dealing with this morning. Yeah, China with a surprise rate cut overnight. That was unexpected, to say the least, but more weak economic data over in China has a lot of analysts, a lot of comments today suggesting that maybe the situation as far as their economy is concerned, worse than expected. Rates back to the upside in a big way. Highest level I saw, Frank Caberna was talking about it today. Highest level since 2007 for the 10-year. We'll talk to him. He's coming up here this afternoon about that and what this means overall. But Nvidia was top of the list as far as what we were discussing in the pre-market. If you joined us at 8:30, yesterday it was Morgan Stanley. Today it was UBS, among others, pointing to, further AI. Hey, there's Sharif. Sharif got here. He made it on time. He did this to me. Good job. What do we think, guys?
I think that was a fantastic job by Fabian right there. I love it. Good timing. It's always going to happen when it's live. I never traded on Nvidia, but I actually look at Intel, and this one could break to the downside. We'll get to that in a quick little second because Nvidia is back above VWAP. It did make a move into 450. Come to the chart for a second. This is just a monster level, this 450 level. I wasn't there at the open. I had a couple of other names that were more, I guess it was more prescient off that open, but 450, line in the sand. It keeps on getting bought up. It was super impressive yesterday's trade, how strong it was, and it made the same bottom, a similar bottom, but just at yesterday's close. I like the 31 to 32, said it all morning. I thought the market was weak enough to get it down there. It just never happened. So there wasn't a push down where I would have liked it. But if Nvidia breaks this last support, to me, Intel's getting through 35. That's the level we're watching this morning. It's not there just yet. I had one little long in here for a potential break when Nvidia was looking strong. But if Nvidia takes that out, this should be breaking 35 at the same moment. And I just feel like the short's a little bit better in that name. If 450 goes to the upside, I guess grit teeth and go long. It's crazy to me that that's even an option today on Nvidia. But you never want to write it off because $4, $5 from here to that level is nothing. We've seen Nvidia chew through $5 in a matter of minutes, and if it does it again through 450, to the moon, I guess. There's just people willing to dip buy this stock. That's what we found out yesterday, and I think you're seeing more of that today.
All right, we tweeted out, Brendan led a little bit there with Microsoft. I think this is probably the easiest trade of the day right here for Softy. Triple topped at 325, 325, 325. So here it is right here. We just got to fill at 324.11 right there, and we are short at 324.95. So again, something where you're risking maybe 10 or 15 cents, now put in the pocket 90 or 85 there on a downside move. Yeah, we're currently short AMD. We didn't put too much into this. It never really got up to the highs where we sort of really wanted to short this, maybe near 1220, something like that. So we just went short, in and out, and now we're short again, just against 112. So looks like there it goes. It just broke, so we're out. Couple profits takes there, and then out again, 94 out 112. Very, very quick out right there on AMD. So not much in the chip space today. What we were waiting for, though, and we were trying to be patient with it, was the 114 area right into here. That never came into play. If that does, then we'll take it, man. Right now, it's been a great morning. Thank you, everybody, for coming back. We've added to our net in the midday show. So obviously with this Microsoft trade, we've still got Alibaba on, and we still have Apple on, both monster winners. But it's Microsoft really where we just put some damage on just right now, man, at 140. So, Microsoft goes all the way up to the third most profitable stock on the day today. Number one's going to be Alibaba, Apple, then Microsoft takes the spot right there. So nice move down there, but let's go back over to the desk and talk to the big guys.
Oh, man, we were just talking about that IPO today. Crazy, crazy, crazy stock. VFS, meanwhile, VinFast was on everyone's mind this morning. Day number one, coming off the D-SPAC after the close yesterday, I guess as of the close yesterday, gets through $30. We're still hanging out here. What a day it's been for VinFast on its debut.
Yeah, I'll let the big kahunas talk about the technical part of it, but let's look here at what they're offering. They have a VF8 model. This model is similarly priced to the Tesla, starting at $46,000. The Tesla Model Y is $47,700. However, the Model Y is entitled to a $7,500 federal tax credit. Now, here's the thing. 207-mile range for the VF8. Compare that to the lowest one on the Tesla, which is 279. I don't know why you'd shell out money for this car if you can get a Tesla.
MNK, it's worth noting, Mallinckrodt. There's some headlines coming across. I was just double checking. This is a penny stock, but I was just double checking if it reopened. It actually looks open on our system, but I feel like it's still halted here. But MNK, there was a news pending halt as well.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, that's a glitch in the system. I think it is halted, Brendan. Sometimes, if you trade at Day Trade the World, when a symbol gets halted, the entire level 2 goes gray. But sometimes on an Amex stock or New York stock, every now and then you don't really see it. But trust me, that stock, I just looked it up. That one is halted for sure in our system. It's not printing. So I haven't traded for scalp trades on VFS. I suppose I could have been doing it, but I've been only looking for a quadrunk to the downside. I had 3 separate in the morning. This was the first halt down, shorted 18. It got down to 16 even. I was looking for a low of the day and then a break of the low of the day. To me, that was going into $10. Stopped it out when it took out that high, had an accidental long. I then shorted it again on a breakdown, looking for it to absolutely quadrunk again into those lows, looking for $4 or $5 in the first move to the downside. And once it got back above 22, took a couple bucks worth of a hit to try to make that 4 or 5 on the first look. And then I waited for it to get to $30 with the exact same plan. The 30 short was going. It gave me that $4 move for the first out, so I did take that. And then it came right back and ran the stop at 30. Was a wick high, so I jumped back into it. And again, my bid is first $4 down to the 24 level. If it breaks out, I'm expecting halts down, and then into the 20, maybe the 15s. The logic on how it manages to trade at 30, it's because the float's not very big, but the valuation is a little bit weird on this one. I would come in tomorrow thinking it's a bit of a flush as well. I feel like there's a $10 move in the stock, but you're always going to want to have yourself some stops, because I'd rather lose 3 or 4 times and stay alive and have that be a reasonable hit to look for that home run than just try to fight it the entire way up. So I think it's going to be a play for a couple of days. The issue is if this were to close breaking out highs today, my expectation is the cost of the short tomorrow, if this is at $50, would then become a little bit prohibitive for the day trade. It was 7 cents this morning, But if this were to break the highs and then somehow actually end up at like 40 or 50 bucks tomorrow, I'd expect you're paying 40, 50 cents per share, which does skew things a bit, although you do get to use them all day long. So I'm in VFS. My bid is just beneath VWAP in there for first take, and I'm expecting if it does get down there would be a halt, which I would hold through.
All right, I'm not trading that name here today. It obviously hasn't been that great. We'll wait to see if it does go down. I think there is that potential, obviously, for a little bit of a movement to the downside. I think I'll take this opportunity to maybe talk a little bit about Rivian, which is making a nice move right now back up to the upside. Rivian today down 3 and a bit percentage points, now below the 50-period moving average, and honestly, coming up to VWAP right now could be pretty good. I'm going to wait to short this thing. Maybe we're getting close enough now. You have this high right there of 21 and change. But if it wants to take VWAP and the market doesn't want to, we're already short Softy, Baba, Apple. Oh, we do have a new position alert, so you might as well talk about this PayPal. We just bought some PayPal down here, down 5%, trying to bounce off 60 bucks. The bottom's been in before down here, 59 or so. We're testing that again. You went from 60 to 75. Great return there, anybody that had that. But then on earnings and a couple negative notes, PayPal hits the skids and goes right back down in. So new position alert for me, PayPal long right here, right now. So we're long at $60.14. It's the only long that we have on board. Look, if the market crashes, fine, we will get out at the bottom of the day, which is this 59.85 area. So let's see if we can get a good risk to reward right now. But like I said, man, we're already cashing in pretty nicely here on Microsoft. So hopefully PayPal, if it wants to go up, great. We are waiting for some more longs down here near 60 flat. But we have a position now, so hopefully it'll go up and we'll see what happens from this point. But the market's still below. And I don't know, I'm thinking, I mean, these stupid wicks, but I'm thinking about getting some more Microsoft out. I think I have a bid down here. No, I do not. I got to put one. Down here, 23.80, sort of this little bottom that we've represented a couple times. Let's put the bid out there in case we get filled, but I like that position there. 323.80, put it out right now for Microsoft. See if we get that fill as here it comes, trying to break 324. Like I said, pretty easy day on that one. We actually tweeted this out. Top right there for 325 down in. I heard you guys talking about this on the big show there, Sharif.
Big show, eh? Your VinFast?
Oh, yeah, we were talking plenty about this stuff.
What a move. Yeah. Let's talk some banks. We were discussing whether or not this was going to be a sell this morning. I mean, this is just BAC. They all kind of look like this. As I showed you on that S&P 500 board, very, very red for the banking group today if you missed it. Fitch coming through. They didn't actually downgrade, but they warned that they were going to following Moody's last week that did the same thing.
They actually did something similar to this in June. It kind of went under the radar a little bit because it didn't have an effect on the rating. But yeah, this is an interesting look. Maybe not for JPM and some of the other bigger names, but down the line, some of these banks won't be able to borrow. And if they give incentives for some of their debt by issuing treasuries, they're going to have to give bigger incentives, bigger yields, meaning that's going to tighten up their margins. So I don't know. I think this is kind of like a trickle-down effect, Brendo, that's going to hurt the smaller players rather than the bigger ones.
Yeah, here is the group overall still. I was just trying to see if there was even one that was positive. CBOE, there it is. One is positive today, but this entire group, very, very red today.
Yeah, well, yesterday they were all red as well. Like we ended the day looking at Schwab was the worst one, but some of the banks were off those lows or at those lows and looking pretty weak. JPM wasn't necessarily one of those, but it did have a flat bottom break at 152, and it tried to get through it at the open, got up to 153, and then took it out. Sometimes you get fortunate because a flat bottom break, it was underneath there in the pre-market, but it hadn't traded at that price until it opened up and then flushed underneath. Got some at 50, then $1, and then trailed it once it made that 151 breakdown. It ends up bouncing off 150. I slapped the trail on to see if it could maybe break the 150 level. If you look at the daily chart on this, it does feel like there's room to get back to a pretty big, 148 is a good level on that. That's a 50 period. If you zoom out maybe a little bit further here, you can sort of see the last big highs were down around 144, so 144, 148. Those could be places to pick this up. With the Fitch thing, it's not like they said they are downgrading. It's just that they might have to downgrade some of the banks, and that could be cause for a deal. for borrowing. Probably a bigger deal for some of the smaller banks, but it was the support level that broke on JPM. That was the impetus for this trade. And it was a good one, but it did not follow through that 150 level. So trailed it out. I don't see a huge opportunity in the afternoon. If it does spike back up to 151.5, that looks okay. Bit of a double top action there.
Yeah, we talked about that 152 earlier in the day. I missed it, but congratulations to anybody that did. It was a pretty good one there. I know there's a lot of people. I even got a couple texts here today of traders that took that 152 short. So congratulations on that one on the banks. And the other name that I was looking at here was going to be like a Warren Buffett bounce type of play here. So $30. You can see that that's held all day. I mean, it's only at 30.06. I don't think I like the long there. I was hoping that, we could maybe get below and then use that as some resistance. So I like BAC, but we did talk about it earlier that this was one of the names here that, let me just quickly find it, that I tweeted out earlier. We just tweeted out our PayPal position, trying to give people an idea of what we're doing here before the trade actually happens. There's JP Morgan 152. We tweeted that out earlier. What I'm trying to look for, by the way, there's the Cybertruck. What we're looking for here was this, Apple's, the positions here of Warren Buffett and Berkshire. So here you go, Apple, Bank of America, 8.5. WFC used to be in here. I don't know, I must have trimmed that pretty good, but Bank of America, the biggest one, held 8.5%. So second largest position for Berkshire. I don't know if it's going to hold or not. What I was looking for on the daily chart here was any dips into 27.28. I feel like that would be a decent area to protect. So we'll see if it gets back in there. But once BIC goes under 30, I want it to hang out there for a minute, and then we'll figure it out from there. But right now, BAC above $30. So I would say stay with the name that's working there, JP Morgan on the short side, if it gets back to that 152.
All right, let's talk some Tesla. We kind of combined those two this morning, Tesla and Fisker, just on the simple fact that Fisker came out this morning and announced that they were going to also adopt Tesla's charging technology. But there was also this note on Tesla talking about a cheaper, that is the wrong one, but trust me when I say, there was a note this morning on Tesla regarding a cheaper Model S and Model X coming to the US. Apparently, as of, I didn't even realize this, but as of last night, you can order said cheaper Model S and Model X on their website. I mean, it was 10,000 or so.
It's not a bad look. I mean, 10,000 is 10,000 bucks. They're using those LPC batteries that they're using on the Model Ys in China. Those cost less, and they also have less range, which is why the range is not the same on what they're calling the standard range now, Model S and Model X, Brando. But if you ask me, they need a refresh. They've been the same way for 10 years.
The Model X?
Well, the Model X came out after. The Model S has been the same way for 10 years.
I mean, I guess they refreshed the front end a little bit for both. But here's Fisker anyways, guys. Did nothing today. Still kind of chopping around within yesterday's range.
Yeah, I mean, that news has never really done much for any of the companies that have joined Tesla, except sometimes give Tesla a bounce. I want to just get to Saks Parente. I think it's Saks Parente. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Saks Parente, SPGC, the new IPO du jour. It is halted to the upside if you're watching it. 11.51 is a halt. The current indicated tap is 12.32, so it is making some fresh highs in here. It's been wild. The stock is halted 14 times total today, which is absolutely insane. Tesla rejected 241 again. 2 days in a row, it doesn't quite get up there to hit that 241 level, and another rejection. It does feel like all roads are leading to that 220. Oddly enough, the name that I'm in is not going to have anything to do with this. I am sitting in a Mullen trade. It's that dollar level. They're trying to regain compliance. It's been above $1 since that split, but each time putting in lower highs above $1. So this time when it broke down, I've been shorted to VWAP. If it breaks 96, I'm adding on a 96 break. And if it breaks 98, I just get out. So that's the one I'm sitting in, looking for that late day push to the downside. Tesla 241. The more times it rejects 241 in Tesla, the better I'll like it if it actually breaks it out to the upside one of these days.
All right, let's go again because here we go. We're giving you some more winners. PayPal temporarily, anyways. We're long at 6s. We just took 19s. So we'll take a dime piece, a little more than that, as it stopped last time at 23.24. So we'll have some more offers upside right there. But so far, so good. That's about 1-to-1 against the low of the day. So we'll see if that does fill up, and hopefully it does. I haven't traded Tesla today, but it is a long-term holding of mine, and I'm going to be adding more and more to it. Hopefully we get down to that. Well, not hopefully. I think when we get down to that 220 area, I still feel like the NASDAQ is going to be a little bit sickly over the next little while. Look, I tweeted this out. This is the Cybertruck. So let's see if you guys like this. We showed it earlier on today as well. Pretty basic interior. Love this. Love everything that's happening back there in the cab. Great front windshield, huge. Steering wheel, possible problem for me. And then, of course, the screen that we all know it's that way, not the other way right now. And it just looks pretty basic. But I guess if you're in a truck, it's nice to have a little bit of luxury. This does not seem like that. But again, nice little report there. And then also another report today of a load of trucks being spotted at some dealerships there, getting ready to get unveiled as well. So I think Tesla, still, I like the stock. It's down 2.5 right now. It is getting taken down here the last couple of days. We do need Kathy or somebody to come in here and start buying it. But I just think that that's just minutes away from happening. So we'll wait to see. I don't mean technically minutes, but, you know, little ways away. We'll see in the next couple of days. If we get down here, it wouldn't be surprising if one day it's going to open near 210, 220, something like that, and that's where you get to spark some upgrades coming through, right? So a lot of these, you know, investment banks and whatnot, they want to wait, rating agencies, they wait until they get long. So I feel like there'll be some longs happening in this area now, 230, 220 or so, then they'll upgrade it. Then you'll see it float back to 250, 260, and then hopefully we'll be able to continue this move higher for Tesla. So I really like the stock. Just today, not able to get into it. And I'm playing off VWAPs in the afternoon. So this name has to get all the way back to 236 if we're going to do anything with it. Right now I'm on Microsoft, which is, by the way, Microsoft just joining. Once again, another dollar trade club today. We have Apple's the dollar trade club. We have Alibaba. We have Microsoft, all part of this club. So if you want to be a member as well, continue watching. There it is. Yes, sir. Wow, Microsoft. Again, I hope that you guys took some of this because that's a nice little breakdown there off of. Let's go. $1.21 right now. Yeah, good day to say the least here. Much different than yesterday. Great job for Microsoft to come back in. It's nice when levels actually hold and do what you think. Nice trade there for Microsoft. Hopefully it can continue to make the move down right now. Apple, Baba, Microsoft, all dollar right now in the money.
Yeah, as the market comes down in here, at the same time, Softy was at 325, Meta was at 304. I don't want to call it, I can't really call it a triple top. It has this really long set of wicks at that 304 level. It's almost like 6 times it got there, but solidly once, and then in here again, and then a few times off that 304. The difference for me, I actually was looking at Microsoft at the exact same time we were talking about it in the chat. It was at the high of the day. So if the market broke up, I like that long, and I wanted something weaker if it was going to be a short. So this was making lower highs and holding lower. If it gets to 302, that's been good support on Meta. I look to take it out there unless the futures do something absolutely crazy. But the market is looking weak. I am in AMC. Zion is a buyout, and U.S. Steel is kind of a buyout, but kind of not. So AMC is the long that might follow the market here. I don't know if it will. But if you remember in the afternoon yesterday, we're kind of looking at that 360 level, zoomed out too far here, that 360 little push into 365. It couldn't get through. It fell back. All afternoon it held VWAP without breaking out, so just waited for it to break yesterday's high. It got to 385, which is filling in that little gap that it had. If it can get through the 85, I think it's room to $4. You can see it's already pulling back. I got about 30% of it left. If it cannot hold on to this consolidation, then I'll just give it up. So AMC was a solid break. It took a long time for it to slowly matriculate to the upside. Not much of a fundamental play here. I think you were noting, I think it was Sharif that was noting that AMC and APE have been, instead of going in opposite directions, they've been both creeping up here, which is a little bit weird to me, but I'm trading AMC only anyways, and if it cannot hold on to this consolidation, fair enough, but it's been a good long so far. We'll continue to go with it. What else is going on? There was that other small cap, just to get this one out of the way, because I know a lot of people were looking at TTOO. I was in this on the 47 break. I then added for a quick add at the 50 level. It got to 51. I tried it at 55. Didn't really like it. Immediately it started not to work for me. It is still strong, this TTOO. Like, congratulations if you're hanging on to this one. I had it early, but didn't really do much with this one late. 65 cents when I looked at the chart. That's what looks like a top to me. 65 cents when I looked at the daily chart for TTOO. That means it's still got a little bit of room. But if I haven't paid for locates, I think a false break of 65 would make sense for a short when I pull up that daily chart. And zoomed out, there wasn't a heck of a lot in terms of big levels until you get to 65. And through there, I'm like 90 cents, $1, those kind of levels come into play.
All right, yeah, what's up to Brent? What's up, MX? What's up to John, Soul Runner for Life, Peter, everybody right there. Yeah, man, we're just doing what we do best, and that is hopefully watch these stocks fall down. Yesterday we were bearish, today we're bearish again, as well. As you can see, we've got Apple, BABA, and Microsoft. PayPal's trying to work, but now this Microsoft trade just went $1.70 in the money, or almost $2 actually, down to 323 flat. Those were some of these bottoms that we already sort of represented down there at 11 o'clock, but let's see if we can't break lower. I mean, look, yeah, I got that stupid wick again. Let's see if I just do this. If we can get a little bit better of a look on that one. All right, where is it? That's not it. That's not it. That's it. Right here. I just want to zoom out so we can see what this bottom is without getting that wick involved. Okay, so we still have a long ways to go if we're going to play bottoms here. Microsoft, probably a good little out. Somewhere around here, if it can get there, 322.50 or so there for Microsoft. This trade is already, 10, 15 to 1 risk to reward. So we could take some more out as it continues to make moves down. I don't know about taking something here at 323. We could do that. But if this market is going to collapse here into the end of the day, the NASDAQ is only now down point. You can see right, I don't know, you can't even see this, but 0.83 right now to the downside. We can get a lot spicier than that. So let's see if that wants to make a move back in again. But anyways, that's Microsoft right now. Just seeing, I'm going to put a bid. Sometimes if you put bids, they actually come in. So let's put that bid right here at, let's go right here, 322.60, something like that. I mean, again, we can get that kind of a fill. I mean, we might be able to get that right now. So let's wait. We'll put a bid out there. Hopefully it does come into play. That is Microsoft. Just a quick check-in on our PayPal. Roblox never filled. So that's one thing that we don't have to really worry about too much. Roblox did not fill the bottom there, so we don't have to really address that. But what's up to everybody here in the chat as we'll go over to our PayPal, giving it to the bottom of the day. As the market continues to fall down, so does PayPal. What's up to the Millionaire Club of TTOO? Yes, congratulations on that one. Rakeen, how are you doing? Icky as well. John and a bunch of people there in the chat. Thank you for supporting the show here again today. But yeah, I don't know, BABA, Apple, we can address some of the positions that we currently have on. I still think the market moves lower, so I don't really want to get out of anything. If anything needs to be addressed, it's just this PayPal trade, which has fallen back in. So our out is at the low of the day here. So if the market keeps on going, the low of the day is 59.85. So, we're going to watch out for that level coming through. We will average in a little bit more down in the low 90s if that does come in, sort of where we had a little bit of support. But if we do wick that bottom or get taken out down there, then so be it. It will be a hit for us. But just to give you some context, we'll probably lose about 15% or so on this PayPal trade as opposed to what we made on Microsoft. So just to give you guys an idea of where my P&L is at for that.
Very quickly, there was a good question. You were mentioning you're in PayPal, but there was a question, what's going on with Square? The market's red today, and Square has like 10 red days in a row. I'm not going to count them. It's probably 10 or 11, something like that. There hasn't been a green candle. There hasn't been any kind of a bounce in block. So I think it's just following trend. It's worth mentioning this 55 bottom is good, but the 58 bottom, if you remember back to when they had the short seller report, the bounce off of that short seller report was at $58. So that's a level that I've had sort of looking out for. If buyers stepped in when it quadunked on a short seller report at 58, then I would tend to think that could be a decent level for this flush to maybe arrest itself. But it's been a pretty strong downward trend in Square. I think it's just a little bit more of the same. Even a day like yesterday when the market was super strong on that rebound kind of day, like Square didn't really do anything. It just kind of went sideways here, and now you're flushing. 58, big level on Square. And if you're looking at that C, it already bounced off 40. If it gets down there again, I took the SSR bounce once. I would not take it a second time as we go back to the desk with Brendan.
Yeah, rundown brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on the desk by everyone you see on the show. See what's moving in the moment. Check out the QR code, bottom right corner of the screen, guys. Take advantage of this if you haven't Great deal, 20% off. Trader TV 20. Shout out to our friends over at Trade Ideas.
So why is this not halted? Oh, never mind. I see what's going on. So a bit of a move to the downside in VFS. It just plunged into that 26 level. This is where it should, if it takes the next level down, I'd be anticipating it could go into a halt underneath 25. That's where I'm going to get the first leg out. Again, looking for this in front of the breakout price. This is the first day of trading because it was a SPAC, and if it breaks this, I'm expecting halt down, and then something in the 20s is where I think this can go. Let's see how far it can get to the downside. But it is what it is. Like, the way I look at it, I was probably never, I don't know what it would have taken for me to want the long in here. Maybe it was a misread on the fundamentals. I have no idea. I just know that when they said it was $23 billion the valuation, and then this thing from there was just continuing to ride higher. I was waiting for the opportunity to get into it to the downside. Let's see where it goes from here. But that TTOO, my goodness. I wish I was still in this one. It might take out that high a day here, that 60-cent level. As I said, I paid for locates in 65. Be careful what you wish for, Neil, because that 65 looks like it's coming in, as I just heard Sharif go nuts over something.
Oh, Sharif. What's up to G. Karambi? Thank you so much for your nice comments there. Thank you so much. PayPal, yeah, it's trying to go. We'll see if it can go back up to the upside right here. Neil, if you invested $1,000 in Lululemon when it IPO'd, how much do you think you'd have now?
Lulu, I have no clue. I mean, like, just because you're throwing it out there, 1,000, not 10,000. Usually, you say
well, no, 1,000. Well, yeah, 1,000 doesn't matter. I just saw what it would.
At 150, I don't know, 150 grand.
No, 37,000. So it's it's up 37 times. So I was lucky that my wife loved those pants because I was just investing in anything that she was buying. So Starbucks, Target when they were here, Lululemon, things like that. So I'm glad now we have free pants for life.
Target was great actually when it was here.
Yeah, Target was great, and then the CEO pulled the plug there because Canada, you can't charge the same. Canada, it's a completely different beast here than in the United States. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, I just have PayPal. I said I'd look at Roblox again right now coming through. So we're close, man. I mean, I just said that we didn't get filled on Roblox. I guess it's because the market didn't come into our level. I am bidding still 29.80 that we've been bidding the whole day. Actually, at this level right there, it's too bad we weren't bidding 29.80 because we would have got filled. We were bidding 29.75. As we wrote down on our sticky note. But now we're going to try 80. We're going to give it. I do have an out if we do break below 70, if that does come in. So right now I do like Roblox at these levels to come in and see. Yeah, I actually thought 37 times seemed to be huge. But Lululemon, again, when you think about it, it's at $380. So $10 IPO price up to $380. I don't know what the IPO price was, but that's not how you do the math. It's 37,000,
I don't know what the price was.
3700%. I have no idea either. Yeah. I was like, wow, Lululemon, $400
hold on, I'm gonna look at
today right now. No, I have it right here. It was 18% annualized return. Annual return of 27.4%.
A lot of money is the answer to that question.
I don't know. But anyways, that's what it would be. Sometimes I get those little random things.
But usually, when I see those, I don't know the reason for this. But usually it's always if you invested 10,000. Like I see that quoted, and I don't know where that started from. Like why is it always if you invested 10,000 in the stock instead of like 1,000? But yeah, it's a general thing. Lululemon, by the way, the other day had a great break, 376. But the other thing, just because I happened to pull up the daily chart, actually let me show you the weekly. While we're talking about it, I mean look at the weekly chart on Lululemon. I mean what to do if it gets through 400. Does that look like a pretty good break? And look at how well it's holding the 200 period moving average on the weekly chart as well. Like it's had some wicks underneath, but it doesn't spend more than 1 week under there. That's the kind of the key thing. So if it gets underneath that, and then the next week it gets above, that's been a buy signal, breaking the 50, and then this 400 level looks golden. Wow, you know what, now that you mention it, 376 the other day was a good breakout trade. 400 I think can be the same kind of thing when it comes to Lululemon. AMC, I remember the good old days where if AMC took out a multi-day high, you'd know if it was getting to the next even dollar in the first 5-10 minutes. Now with AMC, it could take the entire afternoon for it to get there. It's just not the same trade that it used to be. 50 million shares is not bad, but there's names doing way more than that. Like Mullen today has done the equivalent in terms of like notional volume. Mullen's done as much volume as AMC, and AMC is up 9%. So it's good, it's just not great anymore. And if it can't hang on to 365, I'll just get out of this. It's already pulled back. I mean, it gave you 15 cents, which is okay if you're risking 5. But I remember the days where AMC, if that trade setup happened again, it's either working and then you're getting a home run through 4, maybe you're adding. Those days are pretty much gonzo. Shop all in long, Radley says. If you looked at Shop today, I have not looked at Shop in a while. It's at the, when it loads, it's near the high of the day and it's not quite green yet, so that's one positive. Oh, my daily chart hates me. 56.20. I got to look at a higher time frame chart for Shopify as my daily chart is not loading there, and I have the other one on Lulu. So I'm just going to pull up my weekly on Trade Ideas. Kind of the go-to for my long-term charts. Yeah, it's not a bad consolidation level on the daily here, on the weekly. I mean, a real breakout's through 77. That's a monster breakout. If it got through 77, you're way too far away there. You're kind of looking for a consolidation push. I don't necessarily love it. I like the bottom it's made a couple of days in a row, kind of similar to Palantir, where you're wicking around the same bottom, and then you're trying to resolve it breaking higher at that quarter. This market doesn't feel like it's strong enough to support something like this, where the volume isn't all that good. So I like where it's coming from. I just don't really love that breakout trade here. Maybe if it was breaking 57, that's a better level.
All right, just as an, I was just going to update you guys that I was going to get out of some of my Microsoft that we had left if we did take the teal out right there. The price that we already got out at 75, so it just did take it out. So now we have half left of what we had. I mean, we let it drop all the way down. Microsoft, again, like I said, the number 3 profitable name here today off of one trade. Like that's pretty good for me there on Softy. Normally we have a lot more outs than this, but we are really patient with it right back in to this level. So I feel like that's a W for me there. We do have Alibaba as well approaching this VWAP level. This is pretty damn key in my opinion. Right now, 91.60. We've stayed under there. We're in the money on Alibaba a buck right now off 92.50. But if it does shoot this, then we're going to get out. Look, we've already done the day. I mean, today's Alibaba trade can't. I have the bottom of the day right there. So I think that was a pretty decent fill. Then we have a bunch more there on the way back up. So we did good, again, trying to hold on to some of Alibaba. If you're not here at the beginning of the day, make sure you are, man. We talked about this. This was my very first trade of the day, shorting once we broke that bottom. And then it's been sort of down all day, although the market did bottom out. Obviously, so did Alibaba. So we'll wait. The VWAP is right there. I'm not going to re-short it. I don't, the market could go for a run, and if it does, that's fine. We've already taken, by the way, we got out another, this was only a dime here on PayPal because it just went right back up into the same level again, so we actually wound up getting 15s, but that reload right there was 05, so, that's where we have it, or is it 06? 06s, sorry. So we have 06s on, and that was out, that was 19s, that's 14s. That first take there is at 10s, so that's why maybe you might have seen a different price, but for right now, we'll wait to see if it can take out 26 right there, 26.50 on that price. And then I do not have an Apple out. I actually looking to get more shares of Apple short, so I feel like playing off this VWAP makes a little bit of sense. We're sitting at 178.50, which is right up here off of that level. So I'm thinking if we can get short, basically at the high of the day there for Apple, we'll take a shot right there against some of these levels in the 60s. But, again, Apple tried to go, didn't really get to VWAP. We missed it by about 30 cents or so. The only trade that I could see coming back in right now if the market comes down is going to be Roblox, but we're still a ways away. And a shout out to Renata because she was talking about BAC trying to hold 30. That was a level that we really like. So we really like this BAC hold of 30. I'm just going to keep on scanning. If there's anything you guys want me to talk about or look at, I definitely will. Can we help a brother out with AMD 120? Hey, what's up to
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I don't know. What's up to Gustavo right here?
Price.
Shout out to you, my guy. I love that name, Gustavo Medina. What are you doing here? 1, 2, 3, 4 on AMD. So let's have a quick look. I mean, I could help you out. I don't know which way you are on it. I don't really think that the market is. I mean, hopefully we do something, but we've seen it sort of hit the top, then hit the bottoms again. For me, I always go back to relative strength. AMD is relatively strong. We just got stopped out of all of our shorts, so if I really did believe in the short, I would be back into it, Gustavo. So the fact that I'm not should tell you everything that you need to know. If you are short this name, where is there an out? Let's do that. I mean, you could use this right here. Bounced around all morning. Should have shorted there. That's not disgrace, but it's too bad that we don't have that short. So I would say you use that level right here of you're almost there, 112.50. I think that could be a good area to get out of your short if you already are and looking to hold something. I don't know if that's a break long though. I don't favor longs in this market. We're only taking PayPal because of how it's setting up. So let's wait, be patient with it. I think we can get some winners either way here today, but I don't like AMD too much unless you're trying to either short it off that 112.50 with a tight stop or hold your current short if you're in it until that 112.50, but it's all about playing good levels here in the afternoon.
Yeah, I played the level. I didn't play $1 on Mullen. I wish I had it this morning, but it failed $1 pretty much right away. And the plan of action was a failed break of $1, which it was doing over and over again the last couple of sessions. I shorted the lower high of VWAP, but there's my out at 98. Said once it broke that, I'm just getting out of Dodge. My average price was exactly 97 change, just gonna round to 97. It's about a cent worth of a hit, and I was adding if it broke the low of the day. So the plan of action was never to try to make 1 cent on that trade. If you look at the last time it was a failing $1, it went down to 80 on that second day fail, so I ended up closing at 80 cents. That's what I was looking to capture. And I'll probably try and capture the same thing tomorrow too. If I see it underneath $1 again, failing $1, I'll probably try that same play, looking for that 15 to 20 cent move underneath where I can risk ideally only 1 or 2 cents on a Mullen. So you're willing to kind of take that little cut over and over again to have that bigger move to the downside. The daily chart speaks for itself. I've yet to see, there was one other name, and I don't remember it right now, but we looked at one the other day where you had a halt. So you had a reverse split. It had gone all the way back down to like 10 cents or 15 cents, whatever it was that it started from. They reverse split again, and then it got back down all the way there to another time. Mullen and that other stock, I forget the name of it, are the only 2 times I've seen it. To me, that says unbelievable weakness. It's at risk of being delisted, so I'll keep taking shots at it. VFS broke VWAP, so I was able to get that fill underneath VWAP. I'm looking for 20s. It somehow didn't halt down there. I mean, the way the halt bands work, like if you don't do it within a certain time, then the halt band just resets. So it managed to get enough of a dip that it did not go into a halt, enough of a dip buying, I should say, it didn't go into a halt. I'll look for another leg into the downside. And the way I see it, you want to make sure if you're trading things like this, I'm always willing to take a stop out every single time. If I like it, I'll still get back in, so that it'll never be a day ruiner relative to what your upside potential is, right? So that's the way I look at it. Like if it takes you 5 days to get it back on this, then it's not necessarily worth it. If it goes the first time through, then great. If it goes the second or third time through, then great. But if it keeps on taking the high in the afternoon, like you don't want it to necessarily be a day ruiner. And the other way I've found it with these is if you're only trying to scalp it, like get like these tight little moves, that doesn't really end up working out because you end up taking more trades. So it's like home run or not, and then adhere to stop is the way I prefer to play it. And if wish I had not adhered to my stop in TTOO, I'm half joking when I say that because it's just hanging out at that high. It seems to want this breakout. It's at the point now where even when it slows down, there just does not seem to be a lot of selling in this name. And there was better selling when it was up, breaking out these highs and failing at the top. It would at least pull back into support levels. Now it doesn't even seem to want to do that. So TTOO, 65 is a level for me. SPJC, this is a bit of a different beast here. Wow, it's at $20 is the new tap. 1948 high. This is an unbelievable IPO runner here. So first day of trade, it is they make like the shafts for golf clubs, and they have a line of putters, from my understanding, and it opened at $4.20 because obviously 420 is the low, and it is going to open currently at $20.46. It's done 5 million shares worth of volume and halted 16 times. Very impressive. Certainly a little bit different to trade. I mean, if you think VFS actually has a 10-cent spread when it's calmed down. This one, I don't think I've seen a spread that's made sense on it. But if you have the early long, I suppose there's a little something there because it never actually had any selling until it had already doubled up, which is, like, that's impressive. There's one halt, there's one open down after a halt, and even that held support. So it never really broke a previous level that it was at until it got to $9 off of 420 open. I gotta do some work in terms of like maybe the fundamentals of this company because that's pretty impressive on day one.
Yeah, I just tweeted it out here about this SPGC, and I was like, are we coming back in to IPO frenzy time again? 420 all the way up to 1950, and it's going to open up at 2050 right now. Obviously, fundamentals out the window on this one. I mean, how bad is, these stocks, they go up. We've seen this happen over and over again. Please, if you're going to trade this, that do not hold it overnight, but if you're already in the money, and I just kind of say this with like a little bit of a smirk on my face because you guys, if you're in the money on this name, then that's fantastic because it's going to open up at its highest ever. And we just joke about this, that its best days are sometimes its birthday, and it's just like, this is a monster move up. It was valued down here sub $5. Obviously the underwriters, I keep talking about this market being rigged over and over again. I said that since we actually launched this show. Who's the underwriter here? Like, how many shares does Morgan Stanley or whatever have at $5 right now just to get this thing going up? Like, someone should be controlling the way this stock moves. Already 5 million shares. Whatever the float is, probably turned it over again. Just understand that these are market functions, and you're not actually saying, I really like the company, I'm going to step in here to buy it, because obviously right here with this kind of a move, and we saw something with Upstart as well. Whether or not you like Upstart as a company, you might, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if you do like it, that's great. But when you're ripping up here from $30 in June to $70, not only that, but you're going up 20 or 30% in two days or each day. Sometimes there's something that happens, I don't even think it's like a rug pull or anything like that. This is just what happens to stocks. They come out, they report numbers that don't justify their value, and then it comes all the way back to the downside, and then we go boo-hoo, boo-hoo. But like on a stock like Upstart, it is trying to bounce now off of some of these levels. So just make sure you have outs. And on that SPGC, if you're going to have an out, you got to figure it out for yourself, because this is going to open up again. And like Neil mentioned there, it's going to have a spread to it. And once that shows up, then it just takes one person like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, whoever's underneath this, to start to sell some down, and then we'll figure it out. Of course, there's rules about how long they have to hold the stock and this and that. Rules. So we'll see where this stock goes, but just be careful with it. I feel like we want to be into it if it comes through. Obviously, it's going to be a name that we're going to have to pay for shorts, but let's just see what happens right now. Yeah, it is called Boiler Room. You're right. Who was that in the chat? Mark. Yeah, an absolutely great movie, of course, if you haven't seen it. Now the tap is just $21.
Yeah, that's it.
It should be reasonable.
Before we go to Frank, I want to get to this HE stock, because obviously everyone knows what's going on in Hawaii, and it's in Maui, and it's a tragedy. Hawaiian Electric has been getting shellacked. A lot of people are looking for, where do you bottom pick this? There was a headline that Brendan brought to my attention where, and again, it was just a headline saying that they might have been, I don't want to use the word guilty, that's the wrong way to think about it, but they might have turned off the power soon enough to prevent some of the spread of the wildfires. Now, if there's some culpability, like the legal liability is probably why this company is getting shellacked. If there was nothing more than that, sometimes you think, okay, well, this is good for a dip buy. But that's what would scare me about this. I remember PG&E, when it was a similar situation. That ended up being a couple of years worth of a battle and not very good for the company. But this stock is continuing to go down. Not something I look to bottom pick. Even though it's SSR, that's very different from looking at SE and trying to go SSR bounce. This is fundamentally having some issues going to the downside. But we do have our favorite director and Brendan with the guest of the day. Let's get to Frank.
Hold on there. Now Frank can hear me. I was saying, Frank, that I am here too, unfortunately, but good to see you. It is a busy day, a lot to get to here, so let's jump right into it. Huge moves for both. We'll start with the treasuries and the yield specifically. We're seeing levels come into play here. The highest on the 10-year since 2007. Treasuries to the downside. There's a lot of movement happening. Give us an overview here of why this is today specifically. there's not a lot of economic data all week long that would lead to these types of moves. So what's happening here today?
Yeah, thankfully, some of the organic price action kicking in on what is a pretty slow data release week, especially in the US. We have inflation numbers coming out globally, which will be really interesting Wednesday through Thursday. But yeah, we're seeing some really interesting organic price action, like I say, especially this morning. You might have seen 10 years, they punched through actually this lowest price since 2007, and we'll get to the yields in a second. Obviously, treasury prices, bond prices, and yields move inversely, and so we see a low in the 10-year note price. We see a high in the 10-year yield since 2007. But a lot of this, Brendan, looking like the market testing out whether or not we're going to break these levels. Because as you can see here in this chart, haven't been there since 2007, but have touched this 110 level in the 10-year note, or 4.25%, right around there in terms of the yield, a couple of times in the last 12 months. They hit it at the end of 2022 amid the real inflation fear peak, where we saw U.S. dollar, get to parity against euro and a bunch of other things. The stock market was really crashing back in October, November of last year. And then also in February, March of this year, got down to this level again. They just touched it this morning. And if you saw the price action in maybe a 15-minute chart in the 10-year note or the yield, pretty wild action this morning for, like I say, like no real data coming out. We had the retail sales that was, an overall good number, but a lot of the action happening overnight and then this morning here as we start to decide whether or not over 4% is a new normal, or if the interest rate environment is going to reverse back below 4%, looking at the 10-year here. And you can see that this is a very important price point historically. You go back to prior to 2007, Brendan, and 4% is essentially the low. We're trading between 4 and 8% for the full decade and a half prior to 2007. Since then, 4% has been the high, and I think stocks are really playing this wait and see game from interest rates, taking the lead from interest rates. It seems like all assets, stocks, Forex, commodities, everything, looking at this 4% level in the US 10-year and wondering if this is a flash in the pan and we're going back to what's been recently normal, 2%, 3% in that range, or if we're getting back into this environment that we saw in the 90s and early aughts, Brendan, 4% being the low and higher than 4% being a new normal.
Yeah, and I wanted to highlight that and touch on the sense that, as you were mentioning, there's better part of 8 years, an 8-year period from 2000 to 2008, essentially, where the normal, as you mentioned, was between that 4 and 6%. So perspective, I think, is key here. You can see, if you go back to 2000, we get a better part of 8 years here where we're stuck in this, 2% range, essentially going back and forth. So perspective is key here. Is it the new normal? But, it's not that we haven't been here before. So a lot of people experiencing these types of rates for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's particularly interesting to me, Brennan, is the fact that we had that .com bubble and burst in the stock market crash that occurred around 2000, 2001 there. And interest rates were still able to hold on to 4%. Like I say, the lower end of the range. And so it'll be really, really interesting to see in the next few weeks to months here, if 10 years build on 4%, and that becomes that new low. I don't think it'll be a matter of like we saw in the last 5 to 10 years where the stock market loses, 20, 30, 40% even, and all interest rates come crashing down to 0%. We're really, really at an inflection point here in terms of interest rates. I'm going to continue to watch. And like I say, there's a lot of really interesting organic price action going on in that interest rate market. aside from any data releases that we're seeing. And we're seeing a lot of it spill over into single stocks and major stock indices.
Of where does this most affect not only stocks, but commodities and other individual markets that investors could be looking at here, because there is going to be negative effects right across the board. So you have a great chart here just to kind of highlight, a few of those areas that we're obviously seeing.
Yeah, I went in and looked at a bunch of single name stocks and obviously the major stock indices, and as well as commodities, Brendan, just searching for the strongest correlations on the negative or positive side to interest rates amid this run up to historical highs, like we say, since 2007. Who has been profiting and who has been losing amid this run. And gold is, stronger than any correlation in the S&P 100 stocks, major stock ETFs and indices at negative 0.5 correlation. They're very strong inverse correlation to interest rates. Every level that interest rates seem to climb higher, remember when we saw 2% in the 10-year, we thought that was maybe the high, 3%, 4%, and now challenging that 4%. Every leg higher seems to be bringing some bearish activity from gold. You'll remember every leg higher that we took, gold went from trading around $2,000 down to $1,600, $1,700 in that range, and off recently from above 2,000 to the low 1900s. We'll see if interest rates continue to climb. Obviously, historical correlations leading to weaker gold as a non-interest bearing asset. But then also you throw in some interesting single name stocks in there. Not only PayPal, which obviously for a multitude of reasons, PayPal has been getting its butt kicked recently, but I was surprised to see Amazon also showing a pretty stark negative correlation. And then when you rope in the major stock indices there, not so surprised to see NASDAQ having the most negative, the strongest inverse correlation to interest rates out of the majors there. And Dow Jones actually relatively indifferent, which you might expect. It's more diversified across industrials and everything else. But yeah, as you can see here, between the single name stocks and the NASDAQ being the strongest of the major indices, tech not really liking the idea of 4% and higher being the new norm for interest rates in the U.S.
Yeah, that story on Amazon, or the angle, I guess, on Amazon is interesting in the sense that we've seen nothing but dollar strength coming back into play here for the past, I think it's 5 or 6 weeks in a row. The dollar's done nothing but go straight back higher, which you would think, would lead to more spending and more strength as far as spending is concerned. But let's touch on individual currencies here, bringing up the U.S. dollar, as I mentioned, back to the upside again over the past multiple weeks. But we've seen a little bit of a pause here. Why is that?
Yeah, a really interesting story developing here. And again, I think on this note of this morning and this week, really feeling like traders are testing out certain levels in interest rate markets and Forex markets and organically trying to feel out, is 109 in the euro US dollar, is that a low, or are we going back lower to closer to parity here? You can see the historical inverse correlation between these global currencies and US interest rates, and another case of higher interest rates being bad for that euro, that pound, that Swiss franc, and then Aussie obviously has been doing quite poorly recently relative to US rates moving higher and higher. So yeah, US rates leading to US dollar strength. And to your point, Brendan, I think a lot of people might think, oh, well, if my dollar is getting stronger, then I'll spend more money using Amazon or using PayPal or these different things. But keep in mind that your dollar is getting stronger relative to those global currencies. But what interest rates are really doing, if 4% is the new norm, is going to be curbing a lot of that spending at the consumer level. Because how did we get to 4%? Why are we potentially building on 4% up to 5 and beyond is to curb that inflation, get people to spend less on Amazon and PayPal and everything else. And that's why you're seeing these tech stocks get hurt every leg higher the 10-year interest rate climbs.
On that note, we've heard a lot of comments and a lot of analysts and economists pointing towards the bounce that's coming in inflation. We got a CPI print this morning in this country, in Canada, obviously, 3.3% versus 2.8 expected. So the bounce is here, obviously, as far as Canadian inflation is concerned. I mean, it's going to come. We've seen, I think it was 8 or 9 months in a row that we were downside as far as, the trend, and we showed that many times on the show. Give me your thoughts here as far as how much and when to expect.
Yeah, I think that we were due for a little bit of a bounce. And to your point, yeah, in Canada, being off by half a percentage point there is pretty significant. But I think if we get that bounce back in inflation to higher than 4 or 5%, then we're looking at trouble. And then core inflation, if that climbs back above 5% or gets close to those highs at 6%, then I think you might really see a spark in fear there. But to your point, we were 12 months in a row lower in inflation in the U.S., and we were due for a little bit of a bounce back. You saw, crude oils bounced back from being in the 60 handle all the way up to $80 a barrel plus. That is going to run up that energy part of inflation and everything else. Still dead set on core inflation. If that trend starts to reverse back to the upside, then you might really see interest rate markets take off, US dollar market take off, and stocks fall back into that fearful mode. But right now, Canadian inflation bouncing from 2.8% to 3.3%, US inflation bouncing from 3 to 3.2. I'm not necessarily going to freak out about that. And I don't think markets are going to freak out about that until you see, a bounce back from 3% to above 4 or something like that. Or like I say, core inflation reversing trend back to the upside. I think until then, it's just going to be this kind of like I say, is 4% the top in interest rates, or is 5% the top? We've played this game several times at 2%, at 3%, at 4%, each time the market getting comfortable with this being the high in interest rates. And now they're challenging that high again.
All part of the data that Fed Chair Powell will have to consider. Remember, September 13th going to be the next time we hear from the CPI side of things in the U.S., and then the following week for the Fed decision. So still some time for all of the Fed members to consider, I guess, what is happening. So great stuff. Frank Caberna, Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. Thanks again.
Thank you, Brendan.
You look at that pressure. Oh, it's open back up. And you look at that pressure on yields. I can't stop looking at SPCE, which is open back up, and you see the stock market reacting to it as well. Oh, that didn't last very long. So it was open for, it's going to halt now to the downside. So it was opening, I think it was 28, maybe actually lower than that. It looked like it opened down about 25 change, but the first downward halt since about noon on that SPGC. So what goes up must come down. That's how it works. That's what the market does. And we'll keep you guys posted with it. Just really, I don't know, if you paid for the locates, congratulations. I didn't. I looked at it, I'm like, well, if it gets to $50, that could be interesting. But I guess 25 was the one. I just got out of AMC. We said if it got back to that 65 breakout price, that's where we'd give it back to. So it was a good long trade, but we'll ring the register there. While that was going on with Frank, it was 304 in Meta. Then it did this double test of 303 after we got out at 302. So we're back in on the lower side, the lower hump here, I guess. Lower high, whatever you want to call it, on Meta. If we break the low of the day, I want to hang on to this. I am back into Mullen because it just wicked $1. So if you wick $1, I'm going to go back into the short. This is what I mean by a wick. It was holding up here at 99, broke 99.5, got to the $1, which is essentially the high of the day. There's some dark pool wicks above it. So if we break $1, I just get out. If it gets to VWAP, I take some profit on this. But the market is looking into the downside to be sure. SPGC current tap is now $20. So I wouldn't be surprised if it halted a few times to the downside before things got resolved on that name.
All right, thank you, Ramin. We're just tweeting out our after show link right now. So join me today as we have a bunch of different discussions to have. A few cool graphics that I pulled up for everybody. So we're going to talk about those after the show, 4 to 4:30. Okay, so we won last night, Little League. So that was our last game. So we already clinched second place, but it was nice to see. And then there was a girl on the other team who we're glad to have back on our team. She came back and went 2 for 2. She broke her wrist, and she's back now. So really going to be good. We have one more tournament in Stony Creek on Labor Day coming through. Okay, just real quickly, thanks for that. There's SPGC. We just talked about it. I feel like that was the short. I didn't pay for shorts. What you're really waiting to do is waiting for this to fall back again. And if you did have that, I feel like trading IPOs and stocks that are halting are actually quite simple if you're patient and you catch them. I mean, it's just a matter of, I know that's two things, but it's like on the way up. If you don't have the long, don't bother chasing it because you don't know when this candle is going to come through, right? Which is the downside candle. But once it starts to halt and you can get that feeling that it's going to be halting, you can try to catch. And I think if I was here and I paid for shorts, I probably would have been able to because I was looking at it. There's not that much volume. And if you used Edge A, which is these J's, I really feel like you could have been short
on the
there.
Offer, maybe.
Yeah, on the offer. Yeah, that's what it would have to been on the offer. So, could have maybe caught some offers there. But I just want to show you where it's going to open up now. I don't know if you can see that, but the tap right here is $20. Yeah, there we go. Thanks. I'm gonna take my time. Fabian, yeah, I can see your head this time, bro. Thanks, Fabian, for that one. Yeah, it's $20 now and 45 cents. So if you caught it at 23, now you're $2 in the money, let's just say. And I would put a market on open order. If you did that for half of your trade, then it will fill you at 20.45. I don't want to talk about what your broker will or will not fill you, but market on open order should fill you at whatever that opens at, and then you take your trade from there. So again, $2 in the money, may want to be considered there. I don't know why our percentage isn't working there. Normally it would show like a ridiculous percent up, but right now today, just ignore that. It was $4. I don't know.
Oh, I know, because they don't have the IPO price for some
Right,
reason.
so that's what I'm saying. I was wondering what the IPO price actually was coming into today. So I don't know. Maybe it took our development team by surprise, but either way, $4.20 move all the way to $27. Congratulations, SPGC shareholders. Okay, so while you were gone, a few things happened there. Alibaba broke out above the VWAP there, so I don't know why we got out. Oh yeah, because the VWAP was 61 or 62, so I gave it up to 70. So when it did break 70, we wound up getting out. But again, it was only 5% left. It's the same amount that we have left on Apple right now. Apple, thing is, I said I want to get the short. I was waiting up here near this number, 78.40. Came up to 78.20 there. I saw Dan Emmons in the chat. What's up, my good friend there? Shay, what's up to Baelish for me as well. That's his dog. And the thing is that he was mentioning do not enter into really any new trades here heading into the close unless you're breaking above open and close ranges and things like that. And right now, you're kind of stuck in the middle. So I won't be taking any futures positions, obviously, but we'll look to see if we can play some momentum one way or the other here and catch something. So we'll wait to see if that is possible or not. But right now, the NASDAQ not doing much. The only position that is in a sketchy position, of course, is this guy right here, is PayPal, as we wait to see where that's going to fill out at. We're buying a little bit more at 90 here.
Something's happening.
I was just taking a shot on this. Whether or not it works out,
Crypto's making a move
20% down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bitcoin ETFs got delayed until 2024 or something.
Yeah, so there's a bit. It's only like 250. I mean, it's not. Bitcoin doesn't move the way it used to. That's what we got to say here. So when it moves down a couple hundred points, or 150, 160 in this case, it always looks a little bit more extreme. Like back in the day, if you told me like this moves 160, I'd be like, that's absolutely nothing. But nowadays, that is a pretty significant move. So they've been bouncing off ETF headlines because that's what everyone's looking for the next shoe to be able to be dropped. I wish I could tell you, like yesterday in the afternoon, I was sitting in Coinbase, but if this does continue, Coinbase is underneath 80 now. That was an area that we were looking for yesterday when we're shorting it underneath VWAP. this looks okay, just don't want to be chasing the move. Once it bounces, or if it bounces and gives a consolidation, I'd look for an entry either off 80, maybe it's back off 80, 50. I think that's unlikely here with Coinbase. But yeah, a little bit of a move to the downside. That's what's happening. You're likely to have some sympathy plays into said downside. Meta looks like it could be taking out the low. Oh, Intel. That was the other one. Intel's at the low. Maybe we break, maybe we don't. 35 is still a pretty big level on this one. If it does pop into VWAP, I should take it. Didn't take it, took Meta instead. Not happy with myself for it. Bitcoin's trying to bounce. If I do see a decent bounce and then kind of a lower high to put in, I like that Coinbase 80. It was a good trade in the afternoon yesterday. If it can repeat, I think that could be a good one. But you're now starting to see a bit of a push to the downside everywhere. If you're still tracking, I don't know, I'll keep looking at that SPG. Like the tap hasn't really moved much. It's still tapping like 21, which is a dumpster fire. I'm regretting that I didn't just pay 25 cents per share for the locates, but you make a judgment. There's 1 hour left in the day. At that point, you don't even know it's going to open down. I thought it was still going higher at that moment. So I backed off, and congrats if you have it. It looks like it's going to be a $2 move to the downside. So if we get to VWAP, I'm going to short some Intel. As I said, I am in Mullen. We'll see what happens there. But the chips are starting to, they were rolling back over, but catching a bit of a bid here, at least, is Intel. Although Nvidia, no, they're not rolling over. What am I talking about? Like I see a tick in down in Nvidia, but then I pull up the chart. Now Nvidia moved like $1, which is nothing for it. A little bit of a tick down, but it's already buying back up.
Oh man, Microsoft right now is about to be one of these. We're about to get $2 club right now on Mr. Softy as that continues to make a move down. Like I said, that name really rifled up there. Shout out to SPGC. VFS has sort of been a little bit of a nightmare today. If SPGC continues to go down, I think you guys know the play. So it's now tapping $21, by the way, there. So it could be something if you were interested in SPGC. But if you are interested in trading real money and gaining real experience, why not come over right now and hit the apply button at campus.daytradetheworld.com. This is just another read. Daytrade the World is our #1 sponsor here. So we're just going to tell you that I feel like this is a great idea. We opened up an office that was students only, and it was a great opportunity to get traders to come in. And instead of making minimum wage or doing something that maybe you don't love or there's no future in it for you, I don't know, bartender, things like that, whatever some of the students normally are doing, why not come in, give it a shot right now to learn how to trade? I know my kids in university, I brought him in here as well, started making APIs and all this kind of jazz and had a great time and now knows so much more about this place than he did before, although maybe not because he's my kid. But what's in it for you? Flexibility, opportunity. It's really structured. There's a pathway to success. And whenever that's there, you know you're in the right spot. So you can go into TMS, which is our training mode system, and then you'll be going live if you make it to phase 4. With no commitment whatsoever other than time. This is not something where it's $500 to join or $1,000 for this or $50, anything. It is completely free to join. Hit up campus.daytradetheworld.com and enjoy that journey today. All right, so that's that. All right, so we did get another long here. Not another long, added to our long in PayPal. Like I said, this will be a cup of coffee if we do wind up losing on it. But yeah, I don't like the stock. Let's make that clear. The market's making new lows here, and that's something that obviously we've been on the bear here for a while, all day. It's too bad we were on the bear yesterday, but we've called some of these levels. I know some of you are trading it with me, so if you're into PayPal, what I want to say is you're about to break this low of the day of 85. So I'm going to give it a couple pennies lower than that. If you like it, fine. We're long now at O's. So the average price, we're long at 60. You can see that, well, 60.01, it rounded it up. It's 60.0006. So, all right, we'll give it 61, $60.01. If you're scared of this trade, man, take a 10-cent hit, or less than that right now. I'm going to wait to see what it does at the bottom. Maybe the market rebounds a little bit, but if this takes this bottom out, sure, man, we're going to be oh my. Awesome. Microsoft right now is really starting to go down. Now we officially joined that $2 club. It's $2.50 in the money, so there's another one for you here today to the downside for Microsoft as we don't have much left on it, but it is making that move down. $1.08 in the money on Apple as that's trying to go down. We were wondering about getting more there. Should have. did not. And then Microsoft right now, we'll just take this bank and see where it goes. You know, the bank is open and it's just pouring down right now. So it's been a good day for us here. Well green today and leading the charge. So it's been a good one here. Thanks so much, Andy. Thank you to everybody in the chat. You know, trading is not easy, but it's good when you have that feeling of being able to make money. So yesterday, I don't have a problem telling everybody I was in last place, but today we raise up the trophy. Let's see if we can get a little bit more on this, though, as we're still trying to go. There goes JP Morgan again. People bringing it up under 151. Great hold on that one. What's up, Noah?
I got a low of the day break. I did get into Meta breaking. Sorry. Meta broke the low of the day. I'm in that one, but I got the low of the day break on Intel, and I'm into Coinbase now. But I had to address this question because as you were talking about the campus, Sean, someone said, I wish that you guys were in Vancouver. This is Lavino. 2, I really want my son to join. So I can't sit here and tell you 100% is going to come to Vancouver, but what you should do is apply and then say, hey, I'm in Vancouver. I want this to be out there. To my understanding, there is actually a Day Trade the World office out there, but this is a program that can be expanding. And like all things, demand is everything. So if the demand is out there, it's a program which can expand that campus program. So apply and say you're in Vancouver, that you want to be a part of it. And it's just a start. I mean, you never get anywhere without asking, right? Or at least putting it out there that the interest is there. But there is also a Day Trade the World office, to my knowledge, in Vancouver. Shout out to them. We're on a prop floor. This is just the Toronto office for Day Trade the World. So Meta, I'm trailing to 302 on this. If I did take that breakdown of Intel. It broke that low of the day, bit of a double bottom, not exactly a double bottom from the morning, and then it retested, tried to bounce, and finally took out the 35.10 level. I don't know if I want to add to this if it breaks 35 even, but the stair step down has been happening. Probably should have shorted that curl, like the curl on Meta, 04 to 03 to 02, and we'll see if it gets to 01. But I did also say I would get Coinbase on the way back to that 80 level. It wicked 80, came back under, took 79.90. If it takes out the 80.25, I'm just going to get out of this. I am seeing a bit of a bounce back over there in Bitcoin. Still a few green candles in a row. It's not a huge move back to the upside just yet, but it's not exactly rolling back over. It stopped, but it's not rolling over just yet. So I'll risk about 35 pennies on this. Down to the low of the day would be 79.40, which is still pretty solid. I don't have that. I don't have a level 2 up because I don't have one left for that SPGC. But if something crazy happens, I'll let you know with that. But I replaced that with Coinbase when that move in Bitcoin happened. Just something that was actually moving that was going to present us with an opportunity to actually trade. If you didn't pay for the locates, I don't really see what you can do with SPGC. Oh, and the other reason that I think Intel might have broken the low is Nvidia took out the low of the day. Well, took out VWAP here and is breaking down. Now, Nvidia has been generally holding the market up the last couple of days. When it was strong, it was keeping things up. And the NASDAQ has been sitting here on support while Nvidia is at VWAP. Now that's breaking down. So hold on to your shorts, add to your shorts, do whatever it is. But I don't think there's many longs out there. ZYNE is a buyout. Trust me, it doesn't really matter. Oh, when I got trailed out, I actually got trailed out of my US Steel position as well from this morning. I got trailed out here 30.50, but I was just holding that for the morning. The logic behind this, if you tell me there's a bidding war and the support before the higher bid, the support was at 29.80. The higher bid comes in at 35 bucks. When it starts selling in, I'm buying in at 29.80, and I said we'd hold on to some past VWAP. We did. I would do the same thing tomorrow, barring any news that might come out. At some point, I expect US Steel is going to respond and say whether they're really favorable on one or the other. There's still that Cleveland Cliffs offer, which is mostly, that's one mostly stock. The other offer is 35 cash.
All right, so I didn't want to interrupt you, but yeah, in Vancouver, this program is completely remote. So if
you can.
Yeah, if you are, yeah, exactly. If you are,
it's even better.
Anywhere in Canada, you are able to be a part of campus.daytradetheworld.com. So thank you so much for asking that question. I'm glad we were able to clarify that. Okay, bye-bye SPGC again. Just touched 23, now down to 19.50, now down to 19, now down to 18. Now I'm just, we'll see where it goes, but it is a nice move to the downside here. Just like we called VinFast down to 10 bucks, that didn't happen. You can see this is at $30 right now today. And VinFast market cap, I think now, I just saw someone tweeted out it's near 30 billion or 70 billion dollars, something like that, with the amount of shares outstanding. Now
23.
overtaking Ford, Rivian, pretty much all the other EV makers. VinFast now the number 2 EV maker in the world besides Tesla. So thank you so much, Market Wizards, for bringing this one in today to everybody, creating VinFast money out of thin air. So there is VFS, now one of the largest. They've only ever made 1,000 cars, but there it is right now with that crazy market cap. And let's not get it twisted, man. We all saw Rivian when they IPO'd as well, up north of $106, I believe was the Rivian IPO. Let's just call up a weekly chart for this one. There it is right there. Yes, good call, Sean. It is 106. Yeah, exactly. 106.50 maybe. Right there, Rivian's moon to 180, then came back down to life. If you don't think this is what VinFast is going to do, then I have some magic beans to sell you at some point in time, if not today. So yeah, watch out for VinFast. If you're in it, congratulations. I hope it continues for everybody tomorrow. VinFast, one of the largest EV makers now in the world, despite producing 1,000 cars. All right, so Carvana today. Why not go over to Carvana and see what they're doing today, as this is another one. Look at, here we go again. Carvana is starting to get off the schneid again. 39 bucks through 40, starting to take some names right now as Carvana. Will we gap higher? I don't think it held there, but that is a gap fill, so hopefully that will fill out and make it more sense there. But up to 40 bucks, and again, we're still not back to where we were. We're still down 3% today, but Carvana trying to go, taking out 39.70 right now, CVNA, as it goes upside right here. Looks like we are very, very close to taking a little bit of, I mean, we'll say a bath, it's going to be an L, but PayPal right now trying to break out or down through that low. It's just made a new low. We're just right here at 59, break of 59.80 we're going to get out. So this looks like it'll be a 20-cent hitter here on PayPal. And again, not a full position, nothing like that. I mean, it's not because we're down on it. If I was legging into this, I would have told you. I just trying to play this off the bottom in 60. We could have got out flat at 60, which there it is. Now we're out. We'll flush ourselves down the toilet. In hindsight, yes, could have been good. But let's be real here. We're green on the day. We gave back 10% right there. So it's not nice to do that for sure, but trading is trading. And there goes PayPal. Dumpity dump, dump, dump. I could probably just go short now, like real shares, make this back in 10 cents, but let's not do that. We don't want to revenge trade anything that we've already missed up on, but PayPal there with a slap of fail. And like I said, man, I'm just keeping it real. I only have 5 trades today. This is the only negative stock there in the afternoon for me is PayPal. So we'll see where that goes now, making moves down in. Not a great call on that, but we did sort of know that there was a little bit of problems there. Shopify moving. Someone mentioned Shopify.
There's another IPO today, which because obviously it's halted up. I don't know. Caveat: I only know this SRM because it was mentioned in the chat. I'm not going to tell you what they do or any details like what their market cap is. But this just came to market today. It is halted up, so I'll give you the details. It just broke a $5 on a halt and then halted up almost immediately upon reopen, with a current halt price of 67 and then a tap of 585. So I guess one goes down and the other one goes up. At some point, I would expect this probably comes back in. If it's just some kind of a weird sympathy play, that would not surprise me whatsoever. Coin rolled back underneath, so I said give it to 80.25. Goes right back underneath 80. Going to add on weakness, same stop, profit to the low of the day, and then see if it can make the breakout to the downside. TTOO, I thought this was making a breakout through 60. I guess it's still hanging out up here, but it's now 323. So this break is probably running out of time for it to get there. There's still room to 65. I think 65 on the daily is where I like to short, but I guess unfortunately, you run out of time in the day, it's probably going to make that move overnight. That's exactly what happened. This gapping right through the 40-cent level yesterday, looking like it was a good 40-cent break. It gapped through it, then you had to be going long above 45. I could see the same thing happening here. If it doesn't make the break, we're day trading, we're on a prop floor, so we can't hold overnight, we can't make trades after market. But all you do is hope to be able to take that breakout. 65 is a great level, but it could easily gap above it, just like yesterday. If it happens, I'm long above. I would only short it if it happened intraday. Would I short 65? And I don't think we're going to get there today anymore.
Thank you so much, Pro Day Trader, man. This is exactly. Look, I mean, we were focused yesterday too. We were just short. Great job today. Love it. Thank you, Focus Trades, bro. Let's go. So shout out to you, Focus Day Trader. We're focused, man, here again today. So yeah, it's going to be a good one for sure coming back in. I don't have that many trades today at all, to be honest with you. So I think it's been a good trading day, needless to say. So good job. Shout out to Ponzi Fonzie. Shout out to everybody that's there in the chat. Shout out to Vegan Trader. I know you've been here before. All right. So Microsoft, let's just talk about this. Love to hold this into the close. But I mean, not only did we target the short, but we barbecued up our entry and our exit. So right there, we talked about 325. Look where we said we might potentially get this out at, right into here. Well, that came pretty quickly down to the downside. We're now 270 in the money. Forget about Dollar Trade Club, man. We need to maybe get the Benjamins on here, Fabian, because Dollar Trade Club is still great to be involved with it. But, you know, we're trying to get focused and trying to make a little bit more and pick our poison when it's there. You know, the market's really moving. This has been a great trading summer. Like, I can't remember the last time we had so many opportunities like we're seeing sort of now in the market, but it's been a great summer. And a lot of people are like, sell in May, go away. But like this one has been great. Great moves down, and a lot of it sparked by AI. And it's not going to stop, by the way. Now this is now $3 in the money right now. So let's just do this. Let's go Gates of Hell for Softy, because those of you that know, I love that graphic as well. I love that little chuckle at the end. Those of you know there's basically two names that I really love to trade, and it is our friend Mr. Softy here, and then it is AMD. So those are two names that we really, really like to trade. I feel that missed opportunities on AMD today. Oh, wow, AMD's not trying to go back upside. Yeah, that's right, AMD green right there. I was being patient. I slapped on here on the sticky note, which is basically just a self-created watch list given out for free to everybody. Again, trying to make the great content that we deliver here at Trader TV Live. 113.20 right there as a top coming in back down. Make sure you grab watchlist.tradertv.live. That's sort of the root of this. And then I look at it, try to pick some damn levels up, but no one told us about Microsoft today. What that was is chart reading 101, and that double triple topped. I think Sharif called this the crown there, looking like a crown. I don't know. But yeah, we'll wear the crown today on MSFT. Look at this name, Dumpity Dump Dump. And I stole that from someone in the chat. This name is just getting shellackadied. Downside, $3.50 now in the money on that. $1.50 in the money on Apple. So far, so good, man. We should have just... Again, we stayed away from PayPal, but look at that. If I just reversed off that bottom of the day, and I didn't want to get caught up in that, I am taking, you know, information from everybody in the chat. And when I saw you, Dan, write that in, you know, maybe not a great idea to take trades at the end of the day. I was just thinking to myself, we had a red day yesterday, nicely green today. Yeah, you're probably right. Let's go home with these good feels here today and just hold what we have. You know, enjoy the show. Talk to everybody, get excited about the after show, get excited for earnings coming through later on, and just, you know, enjoy what trading has brought, you know, to not just my life, but hopefully a lot of your lives as well. Very interesting job. I love it here. And yeah, nice little job there on Microsoft to the downside. Yeah, Meta on the way to 300. Most valued.
It's already there.
Yeah, already there. Great. Most overvalued stock market ever, says Larry Wanta, and I think there are numbers to support that. But here comes the NASDAQ, man, just breaking 15.1 right now. NASDAQ, huge move to the downside, guys. Like I said, Microsoft, Apple, and Alibaba, man, my three.
So the NASDAQ just got to the bottom. There was just a technical break on the ES. Shout out to Tim, had it in the chat, 440. I mean, look, if we're looking at the ES futures, the SPY will be different, and then like the bigs will be, it can always be a little bit different. But you look at this bottom that just got taken out, bit of a technical break. Everything just started flushing at that same moment. I got out of Meta. It bounced off of 340, so I trailed it to 350. The reason, I mean, 300 is a big, big level. It held it up there yesterday. I'm not going long, but I'm not sure we're going to break that 300 level. It's kind of a big one. but it was 304 to 303, missed the 302 on Meta, and it goes down to 300. I did get Coinbase into the lows. As that just retraced, Bitcoin made a move that alerted the Coinbase, rolled over at 80, just got to the low day, a hold for 79s, and then Intel broke the low of the day. It broke 35. I was taking the local bottom break at 35.10, takes them out at 35, then at 95, 34.95, and 34.90. So it has been a good short market in the afternoon. Mullen's not really moving, but again, that's a penny stock, and I'm in a buyout that really, again, I'll probably hold that into the close as long as it doesn't break down. Yep, those runners are pretty much gone, and that technical break could have us heading toward a 1.5% down day. If you're looking at the NASDAQ futures, the scary thing is that they didn't break the lows. Like the ES broke the lows, the NASDAQ gets there in 50 points. So that's a different story if we don't hold on to those bottoms. It's 3:30 now, so we're going to get the early look on the imbalances, and then 20 minutes till the actual imbalances come through. It would be asking a lot for the bottom to get taken out on the NASDAQ, but stranger things have happened. You know, we've seen this before. It's been a gentle glide to the downside, and a lot of times we've been catching bids or consolidating at the end of the day. You can kind of see that. One of these days, when you have a downward trend, eventually you make fresh lows at the close and things get really ugly. It's pretty much a matter of time. I'm not saying it happens today, but this is some serious acceleration in. Guess we got out of Meta a little bit early on that first curl, but it just bounced off 303 cents. So Meta 300 still catching bids down at that price.
Oh, man. Unbelievable rate now move to the downside. $4 now in the money on Microsoft. So congratulations to hopefully making your day, if not your week, with at least some of these shorts here as everything is collapsing down. So I did say that, you can't be the people's trader if you're not going to listen to the people out there. So people want to know about Fidelity. So I don't know if there is a breakdown there on Fidelity's side or not, but if those of you, if anybody's using it, there are some traders in the chat asking if yours are down. So maybe if you do have Fidelity as a platform, post in there if you're up or down. I don't know. The best resource for that, I would think, would just be Twitter. If Fidelity is down, you would think that they would have something on their site. We're not affiliated with them, so I'm not going to call them up or try to look for that for you, but just go over to Twitter and try to find that. And I'm sure if they're down, and if they're not, they're not. So there's my investigative journalism for you. Yeah, so 321. I mean, this is probably a decent cover at this point. We're right back in. So we have the high of the day on Microsoft and the low of the day on Microsoft right in there. Right now, by the way, I just had people from Day Trade the World campus message me and said that they got a lot of interest there today. So a lot of good signups coming through. So I want to thank Ramin, Fabian, and all that for reminding me to do that. And thank you for everybody out there that has been signing up for that. And yeah, I mean what I say. I think it's a great opportunity to get involved. I don't know. I mean, do we put in a stop or a trail? I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, we've already, that out. It's going to look silly now, but at least we still got something on as it's coming back into the downside right now. Regardless of what you got, this is a decent shot here for the downside. I think it's going to continue to go down. 321 looking to break lower. Microsoft's been one of those names here, even on the daily, that just can't catch a bid. It's broke through the 50 period. I am going to, on the after show today, join me in just a half hour. I have a cool chart up where I want to talk about some of these names, including Microsoft, Amazon, and basically the big tech names, how they look compared to each other. So that's kind of the fun stuff that we're going to be doing here on the after show. But right there, 319.50 coming into play one more time here for that. So we'll see. Maybe if we break lower, we could just hold on to this. But do we need to have an out? Probably. Brendan's going to give us, we probably got it.
It's already out.
Yeah, what is it there?
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, never mind. He put something else in the chat.
Yeah,
I saw a number in the chat. I thought that was it.
Yeah, no, but it's 21 million shares of VFS that are outstanding, but only 2.7 have been released. So you're going to go 21 million times $31. That's where I'm getting that $60 to $70 billion market cap. And then if you just go in and you check out what any of these other stocks are, right, on a market cap, like let's talk about something like Rivian that actually has 52,000 cars on schedule to be delivered and sold with real signups. What is their market cap? I'm sure I can find it here somewhere. I'm logged into Trade Ideas. Oh, there it is. 20 billion. So VinFast is 3 times more valuable right now than Rivian. What else do you guys want to look at? Lucid. I believe Lucid could even be sub 10 billion right now on a market cap. Where did I see it? Right here. 15 billion for Lucid. So yeah, VinFast right now really, going nuts. What let's just see, just for jokes. Let's see what GM's market cap is, okay? So right now GM's market cap 46 billion. So VinFast, obviously a car company worth much more than General Motors as of today. And then let's just check out Ford. Ford's a relatively new company, right? They haven't been around that long. They probably have a real low market cap. No, 48 billion. So VinFast, again, more than all of these names. So that's where it's all tongue in cheek, but it's just, if you expect this name to stay up there, you're probably, you have a little bit of hopium like I do on some days. So
it will not.
It will not stay up there. So, take your profits where they lie. If you think this name can moon, you may be right. Only 3 million shares outstanding, but don't be surprised if all of a sudden, magically, these other 21 million shares, and I don't know, again, I don't know the prospectus or anything like that, do your own work, but when they get released, look out below, VinFast, whether or not you like the car or not.
It's not that it can't HKD, because HKD did happen. You have to acknowledge it. Like, even HKD did come down as well. Just remember that those things are always going to have some kind of a correction, and it gets pretty ugly. So it's just, you do have to be very careful chasing those. You never want to get caught at the top. That's why you don't see us trying to pump things. We just look for trading opportunities out there. There have been a few this afternoon, especially if you're looking for the short, the break of the low of the day here on Intel. As strong as it was breaking out late in the day, it ends up breaking down today. Just got to the 90 level. I'm going to trail it to 35 even. Now that we have the imbalances of 673 million to the sell side, want to give it to that 350 just to see where it can roll. And Primac, you're right. They can flex that showroom in Yorkdale. I've never seen it, but I actually thought the car looked pretty cool. I know nothing about it except for the picture that I saw about it. I've never been to that showroom, but it does look like an interesting vehicle. And the pricing on it's not comparable in price when you factor in the rebate for Tesla. That's another big factor in there. So, the price wars are getting everybody. I think tomorrow it's probably going to be a good short tomorrow. I don't know if the locates are going to be a good enough price for us to get. I was only paying 7 cents, and it was worth it. It was going into what looked like a halt down. It resisted the halt band, and then I got on my last short break even, and then it took the high of the day, and that's sort of the thing. If you're trading this, have yourself an out, and you have to be looking for bigger moves because it's going to make bigger outsized moves. That doesn't mean you have to hold it forever, but if it's working, that does mean you do want to hold it if it's working. The first thing I do when I sit down is going to check the price of locates on this, and if it's less than 20 cents, I probably just pay it.
All right, I'm going to get out at 322 if Microsoft goes back up. We're going to trust a teal right there and get out of that. If you guys were wondering what's up with that, you can go into here, chart data, not chart data, indicators, and see these are all simple moving averages. So it's a 21 period moving average right there trying to come into play, but now it's coming even lower. I was actually debating maybe this top, 321.60, something like that, as an out right there for that. So we'll see if that can come into play or not, but for right now, it is a nice move happening all over the place going through. So let's wait to see 322 coming into play again here on MSFT. That's going to be there. The Blue Jays reinstate Jordan Romano, send down Nate Pearson. So hopefully they can get that going again.
Mess, man.
322 right there. Jordan Romano, of course, Canadian boy, Markham.
Markham, baby.
Coming through
Our
again.
number one prospect, Nate Pearson. I drafted him in my fantasy league.
Yeah.
I have started him 0 times in like 4 or 5 years. And he's been in the bigs for like 2 or 3 years.
Did he have Tommy John, didn't he? Or
He's had multiple injuries. He broke an arm. He had a shoulder issue.
Why is Roblox not
It's a
going
bit of
down?
a mess there. Coinbase is starting to come back up, but I'm going to give us back into 80.
Ooh, we're getting close for
Like, it got to the low of the day. It wicked the bottom. If it starts rolling over again, I don't think it's a time of day to add to it. The chance was when we got it off that 80 level, but I can put my stop to break even and let it ride. Ooh, I still had a stop out there for Meta. I'm not in position in Meta anymore, so I didn't need that. You never want stops to trigger in the aftermarket if you're with Day Trade the World. So you always cancel them, because if you have a stop in case something goes against you, you might get into a trade, it might work to the bottom, and then all of a sudden you have a stop at like 303 that sits out there in the pre-market or in the post-market, don't want it to fill. Meta does bounce off 300, be really cool if we got to trade that tomorrow. I don't want to jump in at the low of the day there either, so I'm just going to hold coin and Intel for now. People are really trashing VinFast. It's even like, Neil, what are you looking at? Doesn't even look like a good vehicle. I saw a picture for 5 seconds and thought it wasn't a bad looking EV. I thought it looked pretty good. But that's just one picture. So if you're telling me it doesn't even look good, that's just another reason they could be in trouble. But again, it is more about the nonsensical valuation that it now has after day one, which has something to do with the fact that you can just soak up a small float and then a stock can run. It's the same reason why these other IPOs are going up. That's that SRM was the other entertainment. And lo and behold, SRM gets to $6 after halting up twice. And it's right back to where it's, well, not where it started, but where it first broke out. Halted to the downside at 512, tapping 493. So if you took this breakout after the up halt of $5 and didn't take profit at 6, you're now essentially break even. And that round trip was about 15 minutes or so. So these are very dangerous. You can hit some home runs there, but you're out. You can hit the ball out of the park, but if you don't touch home plate or all the bases, you are called out. That's how it works, and it has happened in the past.
All right. That's funny because yesterday some kid was running and he ran so hard to first base. He beat out the throw, but he forgot to touch first base. But then the first baseman dropped the ball, and I was like, touch first base, and he did. And so that was good. I'm normally third base coach.
I was going to say, you don't coach first base, you coach third. But
yeah, I do, but yesterday was a different day. I have to send a message.
Base coaching is it's legit, man, especially at the young ages. I didn't coach my daughter this year, but they had the one head coach and a couple of dads just kind of stand at first and third to sort of help out. And another coach always stands in the middle of the field.
Yeah, you can put a coach in the outfield, not in our.
Well, you have to. Yeah. Well, for 6-year-olds, you have to have somebody that needs to be coaching just in case the ball gets hit out of the infield, so people know that, hey, you're supposed to go after that, guys. Run after. It's so much fun watching kids play t-ball because they have so much fun doing it, and everybody wants the ball. So they all just kind of huddle for the ball. The first baseman sometimes has no idea where the throw's going, which can be dangerous because one kid had an arm on our team.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In Hyde Park, it's serious, man. T-ball is really serious in Hyde Park.
Yeah,
like
they don't.
No one goes for the ball like that. But you're in like instructional.
It's called a rally ball.
Right.
So it's you probably no one would know exactly how this works unless you're here. I don't think they have it anywhere else. But it's teams of 6, and there's 3 teams playing each game.
Nice.
One team hitting, one team fielding in the infield, another team doing drills in the outfield. So you're always doing something. You're never standing around. And they start with the bases loaded. So you're either at bat, in the hole, or at one of the bases, or on deck. So it's fantastic. The entire team can play the infield, so no one's sitting around doing nothing. You learn the fundamentals. There's more action. You're always either base running or fielding. I love it. I think it's really cool. I'm a big baseball guy. I forgot about Mullen for you guys. It wicked that 9 even. Sorry, wicked that 1 even. I grabbed the 99 short. It just got to 9.7.5. But there is a buyer of 500,000 shares on the bid at 9.7.5. That's right at VWAP. So why is that on SCYX? Why was I looking at that? I don't know why my level 2 is on that. So where is this guy? Let me pull it down here. There they are. So 97.5 cents. There's a 500,000 share buyer. Now that I scroll down, there it is. You can't see it anymore. Right there at VWAP, so it makes sense to get on the bid. I want to hold this into the close, but got to get something out. You have to respect it. Mullen will be a stink bag for me, but not for the. It was a losing trade 97 to 98, and on penny stocks, that's where I want to put some risk in. So it is definitely a really bad stock for me. But the reason I'm mad at myself over this is I paid for locates this morning to short the $1, and then the trade was at 9.30. So that's why I'm more mad. Like I can lose here sitting in it all day looking for the move to the downside, but to have missed out on the dollar short when the dollar short is the play, that's a little bit frustrating for Iman. We'll try to get some back here. If it can bust VWAP, I should get some bids down at the low as well. Just on the off chance this gets to 96. I still firmly believe that this stock can get to, if it continues to fail $1, 80 cents is the target. And I will be in this almost every single day until it resolves itself away from that price. How many times can you split before? Like, if you don't hold on to $1 here, I think based on their float, they could probably do one more split if it got down to the lows again.
You'd think.
Yeah, the limit is your market. Like it's your share float. Like eventually the float just gets so tiny that you can't do it anymore. But they've essentially been splitting their way to compliance.
I like that.
Over and over again.
Splitting their ways.
And at some point, that's going to fail. Not a great look. What's crazy about it is, I don't know anything about this VinFast. But I mean...
You don't?
But is it that much, like, I don't know. Like, I probably shouldn't compare it to Mullen. Is it that much worse than Mullen?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, the thing about it is that they actually have a car.
Well, they do.
Actually have a couple models. They do have a showroom. I don't think it's a showroom. I think...
Is it not? I thought it was.
I've seen it in, okay, I guess it is. It's literally just a room with a car in it. I guess that's a showroom. But it's not like...
Technically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's fine. They were talking about Yorkdale's just a normal mall. I don't know what they were talking about before. It does have a lot of nice stores in it. There's a Lucid store in there as well as Tesla and VinFast and all that. I mean, that's
What's a not normal mall? I'm curious now.
like Shoppers World.
Oh, yeah, it's a real mall.
Yeah, it's not, there's no like LVMH in there.
Oh,
That's what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
It's not like
there's
a luxury
not,
mall or
yeah,
anything
it's
like
not, yeah, basically Eaton Center, Sherway,
Sherway, yeah.
Yorkdale, all of those are just a little bit higher end. Like they have Nordstrom's in them or something.
Yeah.
Well, Nordstrom's gone out of Canada, but
They used to have
as an
Nordstrom's.
example. But Gucci, stuff like that.
It's
right?
not
Like,
Sawgrass Mills Mall.
Right,
That
exactly.
That was
That's-
my jam.
That's the whole point.
If you've
It's
never
just-
been to Sawgrass in Fort Lauderdale, like that's a good day if you enjoy shopping at a mall. But anyways,
Let's talk about VinFast quickly because it's at $35
Still?
and still holding out high. So, whether or not, the last time it halted, its tap was $23. Now you're at $33. So, again, I'll just say congratulations to everybody. Fire off some hot dog cannons and have lobster if you're long this name tonight, that's for sure. But do you want to be long into the close is up to you. VFS. What was that other one?
Whoa.
What was the one?
well, there's a million buyer chasing up Mullen. I'm punching out.
Okay, you're into Mullen. Okay, so Neil, if you want to go over to his screen there.
This
Where-
just
there it is.
Come to my screen here. 1 million there, 1 million there. There was 500,000 before.
That could
I'm
be
sure-
the next runner, man.
Yeah, you know what? It's hilarious. You talk about it, and then like weird stuff starts happening. I don't know why that just came in, to be honest with you, but that buyer just started showing up there. Whether it's real or not, you only know when it starts to fill. So I'm going to assume that they want the shares, because why would you put it out there? But I was getting 97.5. There was a 500,000 buyer there. Then I just saw it trail up, so I'm just getting out of this. No need to mess around with a buyer that big on Mullen. Hilariously, the second we start talking about it, that starts going to the upside. But VinFast, as you said, like that is the
What was the
I don't know,
other one?
squeeze du jour. Maybe it gets to $50 today. I don't know. I feel like it's going to make a move in the aftermarket, and then that's going to be the top. Like either tonight at like 4:15 or tomorrow at 6 a.m. will be the high on VinFast, is my call.
Oh man, VinFast. Okay. Yeah. Again,
The best EV company in the world.
Yes. One of.
Second best.
One of. Okay, so just a new position alert. Again, just small shares because I lowered my share size on this. Roblox did come in. We took an 83 fill. I was actually waiting at 80 and then, tell it like it is, got impatient with it and decided just to do this exactly with it. So we wound up getting out there. Now we'll have to see where we go from here on this name. I still think it's going to be a good opportunity to take the long, but we are battling right now in the last couple minutes this imbalance locator. So when this comes out, I think it was 600 to sell or so was what we got. Let's just wait to see. 673 to sell from Brendo on that one. So this is all going to update. These are all as of 8:30, or there's probably other ones on here. Hold on a second. Go to the size here and see, because what was that other? I kept looking for that other name that was
SR.
IPO'd today.
SRM.
No. The golf one.
SGPC.
What is it, guys?
SPGC.
SP. I typed it in here. It didn't. There it is. Yes, good one there. Just want to see where we were at with this.
You gotta be kidding.
Halt. Not doing anything. Basically barcoding the last 20 minutes or so. Coming through again. Good market function here today. $4. Up 400%, up to $30, so like that. Let's see where it goes from here. Probably more than that as a percentage. Looks like it's holding 20 was the last sort of area of concern there. So you might be okay with this one. SPGC right now trying to hold out hope for a possible break up, I guess, into the close. These names could get real spicy after 4 o'clock when you think there's no liquidity now. Like after 4 o'clock, there could be a run on some of these shares. So watch out there. Fidelity apparently is down. People talking
I
about
checked
that.
Down Detector, and that kind of confirmed.
Okay,
it's
so-
just I mean, Down Detector's website. I'm sure you guys are all familiar
Yeah.
with it. If you punch it into Twitter, like Sean said, you see the same thing. But then some people in the chat are saying they can trade. So
Okay.
you know, your brokers work for you. So just
Or
hit them
they
up.
don't work for you.
Well, they should. That's how it's
Dum-dum.
supposed to work.
Yes.
And you should complain when things don't go as expected. But it is what it is. With 1 minute to go till imbalances come out, I don't know if we're going to get any kind of imbalance on the names. I'm in Coin and Intel. Intel just made a fresh low at 34.80, so 35.10 into 34.80. It was down 1%. It's now down 2%. So what was strong is now weak. Well, strong yesterday in the afternoon. It's weird. Intel. This is exactly the opposite in the precise range of yesterday. So yesterday you had a top at 35.40 and a bottom at 35, essentially 35.10. You broke out the top and went 1% on Intel. Today, same range, you break out the bottom and go 1% down on Intel. Go figure. Like sometimes the market just be like that and does some weird things. For Intel, par for the course. But wow, Meta really did hold that 300. I suppose that was a long at 300 on Meta. The market didn't seem like it wanted it to be a long, but 303 cents, and it just bounced clean $1.
We will end.
Oh, well.
Yeah, oh man, the market is trying to bounce a little bit. Microsoft's not, still 350 in the money on that one. We're going to wait to see. We're just going to get stopped out on these imbalances, and we're ending the day at our highest spot right now, so all is well here. As here come the imbalances, they don't look too crazy. I'm going to wait. TTOO, I feel like NASDAQ hasn't loaded up yet, obviously. There it is. Now there's Penn with a buy. Is this? Oh no, here we go. That's
This
why.
is that Kenvue
I wasn't
thing.
zoned all the way down. There's J&J with the sell coming out there today. Yeah, there is some sort of a
It's an
rebalancing
index,
happening
yes.
with J&J and Kenvue. Amazon with a big push to the downside, so we're seeing a nice little drop there. Apple were $1.50 in the money on that one. There, Microsoft with the sell again, but yeah, Microsoft with the sell, yet we bump up. Looks like we will get out for a $3 winner. We did talk about getting out if it takes out 322, so that almost just happened. Like Microsoft's just selling at bumps like that, so that's why it's very risky to be in these things as you get closer to the close. Google with the sell as well. Let's just start putting out some offers on all these names, man. Apple almost touched out, now fading back in. Let's just take this Apple bid right here. There it is. We take a 31, so let's go, man, on that one. We'll go. You got to cash out at some points, right, guys? So there it is, a nice little quick cash there on Apple down. And how much was that, you may ask? $1.54 right there on the end of that Apple trade. And this is what it looks like today. You said it best, pro day trader, man. Try to be specific. Try to get the good trades in. Of course, we only have that 10% left, which sucks, but we only got out right here, right? Like, we could have basically saved all the drama and just get out at 1040 when it touched 177.30, but we hold a little bit more, get 177.31s there. So, yeah, all the way to the downside. They just set the tournament schedule for that NBA. I don't know what they're doing in the middle of the season, the mid-season tournament like that. That seems a little bit crazy to me. Like someone's going to get hurt for no reason, I feel like.
It doesn't make any sense.
Then it goes to the downside. But hey, these guys want to get paid, so they're going to have to play basketball, or do they? I just can't wait till the NBA, like people revolt against the NBA. Don't know if that's ever going to happen. I think it's a matter of time. Okay, Roblox.
Only if the Saudis get a legit league.
Yeah, because there's nowhere to go. But I just
That's
feel
what
like James Harden and all this nonsense that's happening, it's too much. Okay, 29.86 now. Looks like Roblox not going to move. Actually, I didn't see them on the imbalance locator. We'll wait.
That total was 3.2 million to sell. What's weird about J&J is I looked up and the MSCI is going to be next week, and I see the J&J action for the indexes as for next week. But it's 2.5 million to sell today, so take that for what it's worth. It didn't really move the stock a ton. And then MPLN's like $1 stock, so it's not really that big. Cisco, 1 million to buy. Pfizer usually pairs off, it's $1 million. And then PCG, I haven't looked at that in a hot minute. ME is the one that's been absolutely nuts. Crazy action there. I'm going to get out of coin if it gets back above 79.60. I was going to give it back to break even, but you are getting a bit of a bounce here in the market, and we're running out of time, quite frankly. So you run out of time, no break of the low of the day since we got into that short. Intel, at least the difference is it's been making fresh lows. suddenly I can, instead of having a 35 trail, I can trail it to 34.90 and then hang on to that to the end of the day. It has been a short type of day, but remember those levels that we're looking at on the NASDAQ? We didn't even break the bottom. As strong as this move is, we didn't even break support on the NASDAQ. That is very likely coming. At some point, this is coming in tomorrow. Well, I shouldn't say that. The market could always bounce overnight, but I'd like to think that that's coming in. That's coming to fruition tomorrow. If we break 15,000, say it to yourself. Even if you look for a long bounce at 15,000, don't fight it underneath. I'm saying it to myself now, so that I'll remember that, whether it's tomorrow or Wednesday. Today's Tuesday.
Yep.
Tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, whatever day we break that 15,000. If you like a long bounce there off support, just do not continue to fight it once it's broken out underneath, and at least consider the reversal. That's all you can do as a trader. In about 1 minute, we're going to get an update on those imbalances, just in case anything flips. My eyes will be on J&J because that's kind of big. 2.5 million shares to sell. If J&J goes from 2.5 million to sell to bigger, there might be a short in this one going into the close, but I wasn't expecting index action until next week based on what I was reading, but that could be wrong.
Yeah, it came out 3.2 billion to sell. So we were talking about the market. The market kind of didn't really care about that sell imbalance. As you can see, it kind of just started to go back up to the upside. Let's see if it gives some back. I'm bidding right now Microsoft 321.25, basically just down into here. If we can get something near the low of the day right now on a last second move, we'll do that for Microsoft and just get out and see what happens after that. So that's going to be that play. And there it is. Now we get a little bit of a reversal in Softy. No, not much happening. Let's see if anything updated of significant value. J&J, again, I don't think it's going to be a trade because it's not moving. Ford with a little bit of a sell. I just keep looking because I'm still looking at Microsoft. Our Microsoft, Ford's $12, yikes, on that one. Citigroup, Citigroup was one of the banks I wanted to look at today. I know we had a great trade there on JP Morgan. But Citigroup, okay, bouncing off 43. We'll look at that tomorrow. Yeah, so far so good. We'll just continue to track Roblox right now. I mean, I don't.
Ford's at 12.
We like to, yeah, Ford's at 12, yeah. We'd like to take at least 10 cents on all of our trades, at least to get a 1-to-1 risk to reward. We were going to get out if it broke 75 right there. So now that we're up to 90, it's literally 1-to-1 now, but I was still hoping for a little bit more, but, might not get that opportunity. So here we go. We are waiting for 95s. Hopefully it can come through at some point here and get us out. So right now, that's what we're doing, looking for Roblox. We'll try to empty, we'll empty out a little bit there. Don't know if we're going to get the 95s, but now it's at 88. Wish there was more time for this trade, but I like Roblox. Let's just revisit it tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'm going to take, the market's starting to bounce, so I'm just getting out of coin. Forget about the trail stop. Let's just get out of it. It did just bounce off the low of the day. It could not really follow through. There was that big flush on Bitcoin, delay the ETF, and Coinbase popped back into 80. We took it out. You got to ring the register on that one. But more importantly, there's only 3.5 minutes to go. So, you know what's up.
Like and subscribe today.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. There's been lots of great trades, lots of learning experiences. You've had squeezes. You have the second greatest EV company of all time today. Well, not of all time, in the current by market cap. Solely EV company, I should say, because obviously there's some legacy names that are going to be bigger market caps. I'm sure Stellantis is probably technically bigger. But very impressive day for, Stellantis? You don't think, is Stellantis bigger than, it can't be. I almost don't want to look. Because if this VFS is bigger than Stellantis, I'll throw up.
I mean, it's bigger than Ford and GM.
Yeah. Ford is at $12. Again, the wall this is putting in, the range the entire day on Ford is 12.06 to 11.98, and it has been valiantly holding this $12 level the last 3 days, and you all know that 11 is the level on Ford. Like 11 is where the bid is. So if this gets taken out, I think it's time to look for a flat bottom break tomorrow on Ford. If this gets underneath, the futures are kind of breaking down. If that continues, I think this could be a short. You can't take it now because there's 2 minutes left and wouldn't want to anyways, but what a level this has been. And if the longs give it up at this level, it's got a clean move down to $11.
And there it is right there. We will close out the trade with a hot dog cannon because it was a good one there for Microsoft. you know, obviously we were waiting for a little bit of a lower low, and this is the thing, if you ever hold into 350, you are dancing with the devil. So you just kind of hope that you can get the best turnout for you. We will end the day with no LFT, as that taking that profit means we end the day at our highest spot. So that was a good one there for us, despite losing on PayPal. Let's check. I got out for flat on Roblox, by the way. It didn't do anything. PayPal, yeah. So should have just played the short. I think PayPal could be a swing long at some point here. We could talk about that on the after show, but it's just coming into 59 bucks again. It's just, you can always take shots on stocks. I don't think PayPal is going to be one of those names that's going to gap one way or the other on you. So I feel like you could have a safe play there on PayPal. Might want to play in the option market or something. But, you know, PayPal right down there to 59 bucks. Last time we were down there, we saw a move back to 76.
Oh, they did it.
Not to think that that's going to happen again. Who knows if it's going to happen again. But PayPal right now, not doing horribly since breaking that 60, but it is now back down to the low of the day and quite a nasty day. Down 6% for PayPal. Its second biggest downside move since that earning report that was disastrous, creating a huge downside move there. So, all right, we only have 40 seconds left. Well, first of all, we only have 600 likes, so I'm, you know, pretty upset about that. But we'll get some more going on. Like the show, like the stream, guys.
If you like the
if
show,
you can.
like
yes,
the show.
Yes, exactly. If you
And
like the show,
Mullen
like the
did
show.
it. So it's 3 days now. They are if they hold on for the next 20 seconds, it will be 3 days closing above $1. They need 10, I believe. So that buyer of 1 million shares at a time did work out. Katrine is on the bell. Well, that's usually it's delayed. I hit it and it's like a 2-second delay. This time it's on, so don't hit it yet.
But the market's not closed.
Now hit it. No, but usually it's. So that's on me. But usually I have to hit the button 2 or 3 seconds early and then it's on time. Today I hit it a few seconds early and it was like, it started right away. So sometimes that's how it works. But the market is closed. It hasn't been a great day for the market overall. It is to the red side. But if you're a Mullen shareholder, you have the small victory of it closing above $1. It just barely did so. And just double checking VFS. Wow. I was about to say it closed at like $39, but it's now down to 32. So the high of the day I thought would be at 4:15. It's possible it was at 4 and 5 seconds, obviously. I don't know if you're going to stick around and then close it and head on to the after show. We can do it pretty much any way you want.
I keep talking about, we'll figure this out. Keep talking about my daughter. Here she is right here, grabbing some gelato. She loves gelato ever since we were in Italy, so there it is right there. Of course, she's showing me that she just got more brace work done there today. So yeah, thank you for that. All right, well, it's a good thing we had a good day there, and of course, I love her to death, so she gets whatever the heck she wants. So, all right, yeah, I will move over to the desk right now. Thank you so much to Ben and everything like that. I don't have a problem doing that. I think it's good content coming through there. So thank you to my lovely wife for sending that through. And yes, you turning those guys into bulls or bears?
Well, this has been a bear all week next to me. I can't, after a day like today, this needs to be a bear.
Yeah, I feel like you're probably right.
There we go.
Coming on, okay.
This one looks sad. Like, I don't know. It's like he's...
We'll see. We'll see what comes through with some earnings plays. So why don't you thank you so much, Tony Price, and everybody that's out there. Great trade. Jay Hampel, man, thank you for your nice words there. Great trader, better dad. Yeah. Hopefully that's true. All right. So that was a good show. Thanks to everybody for watching. Please join me. The stream should turn over. If it doesn't, follow me on Twitter, and you'll be able to see the link right there. Just go to Trader TV Live's homepage.
Yes,
let's get going on this after show.
Let's get going. Great day for everybody. Shout out to both Ramin, of course, and Fabian doing a great job. And the midday guys absolutely crushing it. They were all over some of those movers, which were going nuts. You know, Max doing a great job. And I want to, and obviously Sharif too, but I want to shout out Obi.
Yep.
He did a great job filling in. A lot of people were asking, where's Obi? When somebody's off, he does fill in, does a great job of it. He's always around, so he's on the floor and always trading. But let's get on out of here. The after show is on. VFS is still making some moves. Let's kick it over to the desk and then to the after show.
Hey guys, yeah, what a monster. What a pretty impressive debut, to say the least, for VinFast. I'm sure we'll be talking about that a little bit more throughout the remainder of the week.